All right, shalom, and welcome to another Bible study that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in this body of Yahshua. My name is Esaac ben Israel, and I'm the elder priest of the United Congregation of Israel. And I am joined here with Priest Mikael. Shalom, my brother.
Shalom, elder.
All right, so we are going to get into something tonight. Tonight's topic is salvation is of the Jews. Now, in dealing with that, we're going to have to ask a few questions. First, which Jews are we talking about? And then we're going to have to deal with what symbols are available for us to use. When we deal with that, we're in a time where everything is set by logos. There are images for everything, but then we have rules that, you know, our Elohim was particular about images, but he said, you shall make no images to represent him. Now, that doesn't mean that images can't be used for other parts of your being, your business, you know, things of that nature, even you know, your congregation gathering. But we have to see how far we're going to go with those images and what else are those images attached to. Because all we have to do to lessen something is allow it to be associated with something unsavory, and now we have tarnished what we are attempting to do with our Elohim. Take something as when we are setting aside, whether it be a tithe or anything that we're going to give to our Elohim. When we look in this book, there are specific points where it says, I have not used any of what I have set aside for you for any unclean use. All right. And it's like, okay, so what did it mean by that? You had set aside this for this purpose. Okay. And then it says, I have not used it in my mourning. That when I got sad, I decided, you know, I'm going to make myself feel better by dipping into the things that I had set aside for Yahweh. So once we do that, once we sanctify something for a purpose, we need to do everything that we can in our power to keep that sanctified or separated from common things. This is why it is very important that when we either have a prayer room or we have something, that's if we have that. Everybody don't have the ability to have something like that. But the less we can make that normal, the better off that particular area stays sanctified. So with even this study where we are, that is completely different from what we do on the Sabbath day. That is in a set apart room that is closed and locked off pretty much on all other times. And even when we come out on the Sabbath day, it is open for prayers and things of that nature. But after that, it's closed back up. It is sanctified. It is set apart. It is separated for that use. We don't do common things in that area, thereby keeping it sanctified. You know, we have ability to have visuals in there, but we don't do that in there. Okay, you know, that'll be done in another area where we have televisions or projectors, and then, you know, we'll watch something in another area. That helps keep that particular area sanctified for that use. So we have to consider that when we're dealing with something that we're going to use as it pertains to our Elohim. But our Elohim has given us some things as well that man just didn't deal with right. So I'm going to start tonight in Numbers chapter 21. Numbers chapter 21. And start that at verse 1.
And when King Arad, the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, heard tell that Israel came by the way of the spies, Then he fought against Israel, and took some of them prisoners. And Israel vowed a vow unto Yahweh, and said, If you will indeed deliver this people into my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities. And Yahweh hearkened unto the voice of Israel, and delivered up the Canaanites. And they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah.
Now, you want to be careful when you get into a situation whereby we want something of Yahweh, and then we will then in turn enter into a vow. Sometimes those vows at the time make sense to us, but then you'll get to the point where we're making some vows that are like impossible to keep, like, Yahweh, if you protect me in doing this, I'll never breathe again. Now, I don't know so the chances of success are very low, because even if you survive, you die. So it doesn't really make much sense. You don't want to just get to the point where we're entering into vows, and I get it. I understand the purpose, behind it makes sense, that we're going to bind our souls to something because of how important this one thing is to us. But sometimes we just have to sit and wait and do everything that we can do and wait for Yahweh without entering into some impossible vows that we can't possibly keep. And sometimes we just don't know that we can't keep that. But here's the beautiful thing about Yahweh, in that he knows what things to attribute unto us concerning what comes out of our mouth. It says that you know not what to pray for, but the Spirit helps your infirmities with utterances, with groanings, which cannot be uttered. You can't even pray directly to the Spirit. Now, don't let somebody, hear that on Sunday morning, because they said, no, I spoke the gobbledygook to the Spirit when I was speaking in tongues. It's expressly said, no, you can't speak this. First of all, you don't have the information to know what is around the corner concerning you. The only thing you know is what's in front of you. The Spirit knows what's down the street and around the corner. So it knows when to take your prayer and or vow and set that aside and say they don't understand what's over that hill. But we have to ask ourselves, what have we done that Yahweh would intervene for us in that manner? Go ahead, keep going.
Verse 4, And they journeyed from Mount Or by the way of the Red Sea to compass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And the people spake against Elohim and against Moshe.
Now, the one thing you have to learn about dealing with all people, but Israel in particular, we are definitely, we're the biggest cheerleaders when we winning. But I'm trying to tell you, when we start losing, let me tell you something. Boy, we're a hard group of people to kick it with when we losing. And if you're confused about that, watch a football game of the team that's 1-9. Now, everybody on the field is rich. There's no poor individuals on the field. Not one. Mm-hmm. The dude who ain't got in at all this season is living better than you. All right? He ain't worked. All right? His work is working out. He don't work, he works out. Okay? So, but let them lose enough games and watch them turn on each other on the side of that field. $1 million chains flying all at each other. They at it. Once the losses come, here come the feelings. So here, the way gets difficult, and now we don't just speak against the person we see. We speak against the person that sent him. It says, and they spake against Elohim and against Moshe. Go ahead.
Wherefore have you brought us about of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither there is any water, and our soul loathe this light bread.
Yeah, we hate this. Go ahead.
And Yahweh sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died.
Right. Now, so the people don't see the connection between what Yahweh has done. They running off at the mouth, and and they're coming with strong words from the mouth. So Yahweh then sends them a serpent that bites them with his mouth. His sting is in his mouth. So there are times that situations may present itself and we don't see the poetic way that Yahweh is trying to show you what you're doing. We will say, it's an unfortunate situation that I've been in. But if you get down and meditate on the situation, you see, now why did he do it like this? See, at no point when they're talking do they understand that he's giving them a serpent because this is what they have become. A serpent, its weapon is its mouth. Israel's weapon was their mouth in speaking against Elohim and his servant. That's a lesson for us. Go ahead.
Therefore, the people came to Moshe and said, we have sinned.
The people came to Moshe and said, now that same one they were talking about now. All right, the same one that they were biting is the same one they got to go to talk about what's happening to them. Go ahead.
For we have spoken against Yahweh and against you.
Now, here's the difference in what people do, when they're trying to really repent and what people do when we're trying to justify ourselves. Look at the words that come behind the apology. Therefore, the people came to Moshe and said, we have sinned. How did you sin, you might ask? For we have spoken against. Now, these are the things that we just don't do in 2024 now. Now, we might say, if I offended you, when I stabbed you in your back, took your car, drove it down the wrong side of the highway and wrecked it, if I offended you, damn right you offended me. What do you mean if you offended me? So we have a totally different situation. They are saying we have sinned, not only that we have sinned, but how we sinned against you. Not if I have offended you. Okay, so that's that step. So we have sinned, for we have spoken against Yahweh and against you. End of apology. The longer your apology takes, the worse your apology is. The more things you add to that apology, the less that apology. Matter of fact, if you keep talking, you're going to offend the person who you were so-called apologizing to. And then get mad at them. Why they ain't accepting my apology? Well, you offended them 3 times in the apology. Now they even more upset than they were before you apologized. Your apology took too long. So now they say what they have done, and now they go right into what they want. Pray unto Yahweh that he take away the serpents from us. All right? And Moshe prayed for the people. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, make you a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole.
Now, why did he even do that? Why was that the way to heal them? They understood what they did. They said, we have spoken against Yahweh, we have spoken against you. All right? These snakes have come against it. They even knew why they were getting judged. They knew that it was because they were running off at the mouth, and Yahweh gave them something to attack them with its mouth. So it's understood what they've done, why they're getting punished in that way. They understand that. But now instead of Yahweh just saying, you know what, I heal y'all. There it is. Shazam. That's not what he did. He did something else. Yahweh said unto Moshe, make you a fiery serpent and set it on a pole. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he look upon it, shall live.
Right. So the serpent on the pole was a mirror to them. This is what you have become. Look at yourself. It is the most difficult thing for us to do that. That's why the apologies take so long. That's why even when we apologize on Monday, we'll find a way on Thursday. As soon as something happens, we'll throw it back. You know, see, you remember that thing you did on Monday? Yeah. Wait a minute, I thought you apologized. Wait a minute, now you throwing this as soon as something else come up that look like it? What happened? We don't want to look directly in the eyes of that serpent. He made the serpent, put it on a pole, and said, if you have been bitten, come and look at it. When he looks upon it, shall live. Wait a minute, why you got to look directly at the serpent? Go ahead.
You know, priest, it look like the healing is in the same thing that you is in the snake. But because you open your mouth in the wrong way.
Yep.
Then he wants you to look at what you said, look at what you're doing, and look at what you said.
You get it how you live.
You say the same thing, make you laugh, make you cry.
There it is. There it is. My mama told me you act up on aisle 4 at Walmart, guess where you gonna get it at? Aisle 4 at Walmart. There it is. Now see, these new age mamas, they like, you gonna get it later. You gonna get it later. Right. This is how, because what Yahweh is a real teacher. He is a real father. So it's no use of whooping somebody and they don't understand why they're getting the whooping.
Right.
This is why when we got whoopings, there was always a conversation that went with the whooping. You do understand why you're getting whooped, right? You don't understand what this is about. So he don't just want to punish you. It is about, do you understand what is happening here so this can be better? And Israel, true Israel, gets that worse than anybody else on the face of the planet. So everybody want to be Israel when it comes down to receiving something. But receiving judgment is always more harsh with Israel. As it is written, do all these things and begin at my house. Okay? That's what he says start. He ain't said start down the street at John them house and then clean everything. You know, the whoopings, the cleaning up, the chastisement, all of it, start at my house. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And Moshe made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of the brass, he lived.
All right. So when he acknowledged, first of all, he had to acknowledge that this is what he had done. To even get to this point, now he's got to look eye to eye with what he has done and accept it. This is all about repentance, and we don't even get it. He is dealing all about repentance in the Old Testament. Here it is. We think we part of the new covenant. We think we so educated and we can't understand this old covenant concept right now today. And you can tell we don't understand it by what we do every time it's time to apologize for something. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 18. Second Kings 18 and started at verse 1.
Now it came to pass in the 3rd year of Hoshea, son of Eli, king of Israel, that Hezekiah, the son of Asa, king of Yehuda, began to reign. 25 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Abi, the daughter of Zechariah. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahweh, according to all that David his father did. He removed the high places and break down the images.
Break the images. So Israel has gotten to the point that these images are really big with them. But now Yahweh had just told him to make this serpent and put it on a pole. Go ahead.
And cut down the groves and break into pieces the brazen serpent that Moshe had made. For unto those days the children of Israel did burn incense to it, and he called it
Nehushtan. Now, so Yahweh gave Israel a way to look directly into the eye of what they were doing. They then took Yahweh's way of healing them and turned it into a worship practice. They burned incense unto it and gave it a name. Now it has changed levels. Now, wait a minute. Yahweh was the one that gave us the thing. Now the thing has turned into an image. Now they got to go knock it down. But I mean, you look at the groves. Groves are just trees. Yahweh made trees. How can the trees be a problem? Because they have decided to do something else with the trees. Now he has a problem with it. So it's not necessarily the thing. It is what you do using the thing. So understanding that, let's go to Genesis chapter 49. Because there's a question of, hey, how is it okay for, you guys to have a lion and display that? How is that not an image? So it's a valid question. So let's get into it. Genesis chapter 49, and let's start that at verse 1.
And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together, and hear, you sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, you are my first son, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, you shall not excel, because you went up to your father's bed, then defiled you it. He went up to my couch.
So the right of the firstborn has been taken from Reuben because of his action. Go ahead.
Simeon and Levi are brothers. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. O my soul, come not you into their secret, unto their assembly. Mine honor, be not you united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down the wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel.
I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. They don't have any business being together because of how their anger fuels the other one. Go ahead.
Yehuda, you are he whom your brothers shall praise. Your hand shall be in the neck of your enemies. Your father's children shall bow down before you. Yehuda is a lion's whelp.
Now, when you get to this, then Yahweh has once again set Yehuda and the lion together. Now, he was already describing that before. You are he whom your brethren shall praise. Your hand shall be in the neck of your enemies. The lion is the king of the jungle. All right. He's top of the food chain. All right. So he automatically goes there. Your father's children shall bow down to you. Well, he just went kingship right there. Then he goes into Yehuda is a lion's whelp. Well, he had already been describing the lion before he actually said the lion. So has given a description and now has given an image for this tribe. Keep going.
From the prey, my son, you are gone up. He stooped down. He crouches as a lion. And as an old lion, who shall arouse him up?
Now, he keeps saying lion, dealing with Yehuda. So this is an image that Yahweh has given. Now, if we get to the point that, you know, you go in the sanctuary, behind where the choir stands, you look to the left, there's a lion on the wall. Now to the right is the altar. Now, if I come in there and somebody praying to the lion, now see, we gonna have us some problems. See, we gonna have some problems. Look at it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you can't figure out what the difference between the altar and that lion, one of these gonna have to go. Either the lion, the altar, or you. Now I can tell you which one we leaning on. I can tell you how this gonna look. I can tell you.
The lion ain't did nothing.
Lion ain't did nothing. The altar show ain't going nowhere. All right. Go ahead.
The scepter shall not depart from Yehuda.
A scepter is what a ruler has. So we are once again looking at how Yahweh has put these images together. Go ahead.
Nor a lawgiver from between his feet. Unto Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass colt unto the choice vine. He washes his garment in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. So we have all of this to then explain this lion tribe. Okay? So now let's go to Revelation chapter 5. So Yahweh jumps off into this right away in Genesis, dealing with this lion tribe. So if you're looking for an image that Yahweh approved of, because let's be honest, when it came down to the children of Israel acknowledging their sin, he thought the serpent on the pole was a decent image. Why? Because it reflected what they were doing. If the image of the lion reflects the power that Israel is destined to have within the tribe of Judah, then the serpent represents what Israel gonna be if they keep running their mouth against the wrong people. So he said, you need an image to represent you. So what image you gonna deal with? Go ahead. Start at verse 1. And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and loose the seals thereof? And no man in heaven, nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the others said unto me, weep not. Behold, the lion of the tribe of Yehuda.
Wait a minute. So you're looking at the image and say, well, man, they got images on the wall. Hold on. What you got there? Behold, the lion of the tribe of Yehuda. So if you got a problem with the image, call your God. Call him. Make sure you call him. The lion of the tribe of Yehuda. Keep reading.
The root of David had prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof.
Wait a minute. We talking kingly power? We talking about kingly authority? We talking about all of that wrapped up in this Lion of the tribe of Yehuda. Now, the tribe itself was the lion tribe, but he is the lion of the lions. What? Wait a minute. There's got to be an alpha. Even among all the alphas, there's an alpha. All right? Because it takes an alpha to deal with a group of alphas. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 6, and I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the four beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of Elohim, sent forth into all the earth.
Right. So then when we deal with the power of this image, then we're talking about this image is represented from the beginning of the book to the end of the book. So if someone wanted to deal with something representing Yehuda and representing Israel, I can't see why they would deal with anything other than a lion. Keep reading.
And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne.
Now wait a minute. Only this lion of the tribe of Yehuda has the right to do this, has the power to do this. Go ahead.
And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden bowls full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. And they sung a new song, saying, You art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for you were slain and had redeemed us to Elohim by your blood out of every kindred and language and people and nation.
All right, so you are worthy because of the suffering. So now you have a different level of authority based on the suffering. Now, nobody wants to go through the suffering, but now, in the beginning, the question was, is salvation of the Jews? Then we must ask ourselves, okay, which Jews? Because Yeshua was a lion of the tribe of Yehuda, but there were many Jews. Okay? But then the suffering that he was subjected to was on a whole different level. So now we're dealing with levels according to what they've gone through. And you always have somebody who wants to have the authority, but they have not gone through the same level of turmoil that the people who are in authority have gone through. They want the authority without the turmoil, and that's a problem because they go hand in hand. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 7. Hebrews chapter 7, and we're going to start that at verse 11.
If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, what further need was there that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek, and not be called after the order of Aaron? For the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law. For he of whom these things are spoken pertained to another tribe, for which no man gave attendance at the altar.
Now wait a minute. So now you're talking about a lion so powerful that a complete change in the law, an amendment. We're talking about a spiritual amendment. Okay? A spiritual amendment has been put in place to allow the lion from the lion tribe to then walk into the priesthood. Go ahead.
For it is evident that our Adonai sprang out of Yehuda.
Sprang out of Yehuda. All right? It says the lion of the tribe of Yehuda. Go ahead.
Of which tribe Moshe spake nothing concerning priesthood. And it is yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek there arise another priest, who is made not after the law of a carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life. For he testified You are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. For there is verily a disannulling of the commandment going before for weakness and unprofitableness thereof. For the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did.
All right. So we have then a confirmation of this lion from Genesis to Revelation. So then we have to then ask ourselves, where do some of these other images come from, and how are they so prevalent and readily available to be seen everywhere? Where do these images come from? So we see Yahweh starts in dealing with these this lion in Genesis, and then confirms this lion in Revelation and in multiple parts in between. So we're talking beginning and end and in the middle. All right, let's go to Amos chapter 5.
Amos chapter 5, start at verse 1.
I tell you what, let's hold your place right there. Let's go to Numbers 24 first. So Numbers 24, and start that at verse 15.
And he took up his parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, had said, and the man whose eyes are open had said. He had said, which heard the words of Elohim, and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Yaakov.
Now, wait a minute. So now there's a star that comes out of Yaakov. So we have to then, we're seeing these images of stars. So then maybe, that could be where, this star is coming from. So let's do a little bit more research. And it says a star out of Yaakov. Go ahead.
And a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Shet.
All right, so then if we're talking about a star out of Yaakov, then we understand that David came out of Yaakov. So then maybe this is the understanding of the Star of David. Let's see. Let's go to Amos chapter 5. Because you have different walks of people who use, this image. People in the land use it. You have Hebrews that are here in America, black Hebrews that use this so-called Star of David. So he talks about this star. So let's go into this. Amos chapter 5 and started at verse 18.
Woe unto you that desire the day of Yahweh. To what end is it for you? The day of Yahweh is darkness and not light. As a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house, and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of Yahweh be darkness and not light, even very dark, and no brightness in it?
Now, if you are expecting a God love fest, now you're in trouble, right?
Definitely.
Because you don't got soft music playing. You don't went and got your roses. You You done got your Victoria's Secrets and put it on. I mean, you ready. You ready. You got your smell good everywhere. You ready. And a whole different kind of situation is presenting itself. But you find that you have been preparing for something else. See, somebody has lied to you about what was coming. Go ahead.
Verse 21. I despise your feast days. I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Though you offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Take you away from me the noise of your songs, for I will not hear the melody of your vows.
And one of the things that we love the most is getting into our songs. Some congregations will start singing and they'll never stop. They just sing until they be like, all right, y'all, time to go home. I thought we ain't gonna have no sermon.
That was the sermon.
That was a sermon. And hey, I've had situations where we went Sunday morning and they were like, the song sure was nice. I said, yeah, but I was expecting him to say something, man. I didn't think the song was gonna keep going and going and going. I didn't think that's what was going to happen. Go ahead.
But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Have you offended unto me?
Have you offered?
You offered unto me sacrifices and offerings into the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel. But you have borne the tabernacles of Molech and Chun, your images.
Chion, your images. Go ahead.
The star of your God.
Wait a minute. The star of your God. Now wait a minute. Now we got something where he was saying the star shall rise out of Yaakov, but then now Yahweh is saying, now somebody using the star that ain't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about. So I don't know what this star. This is the star of your God, which you made to yourself. So then we have to ask, all right, well, who was the designer of such star? Because it's not like you can make a star or an image of a star. That little asterisk that they have on the computer, that used to be called the star. People say, yeah, press the star on the keyboard. Now, how do you decide that the way that these individuals design a star, who says that was supposed to be the design of every star? Like we have a lion, but our lion don't look like everybody else's lion. Other people have lions, our lion don't look the same. What and who was in charge of making sure that the star looked exactly alike all the way across the board? Whose design was that? Okay, keep going.
Which you made to yourself.
You made it. Now he's saying you made it. Go ahead.
Therefore will I cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus, said Yahweh, whose name is Elohim of hosts.
All right. Now let's go to Acts chapter 7. Because we have to look at these images that we have accepted. Start Acts chapter 7 and start at verse 30.
And when 40 years were expired, there appeared to him in the wilderness of Mount Sinai an angel of Yahweh in the flame of fire in a bush. When Moshe saw it, he wondered at the sight. And as he drew near to behold it, the voice of Yahweh came unto him.
Okay. It was a fire in the bush. What was the fire in the bush? What did it just say? And when 40 years expired, there appeared unto him in the wilderness of Mount Sinai an angel. So the reason the bush was on fire but not consumed by the fire, because the fire was actually an angel. Okay, keep going.
When Moshe saw it, he wondered at the sight. As he drew near to behold it, the voice of Elohim came unto him, saying, I am the Elohim of your fathers, the El of Abraham, and the El of Esaac, and the El of Jacob. Then Moshe trembled, and durst not behold. Then said Yahweh to him, Put off your shoes from you, for the place where you stand is holy ground.
Wait a minute. Why this holy ground? You know how many people done already walked over here before you out there? You come over here with your burning bush. Wait a minute. How did it become holy ground? What was the fire?
The angel.
Angel. What do we do before we even have holy convocation? We go in, sanctify the room, and ask the angel to come in and sup with us and us with him. At this point, now you're dealing with holy ground. See, there's a whole lot of people that say, oh, the whole land of Israel is holy ground. You know how many people that they have unjustly killed in Israel right now, and still killing right now as the sound of my voice is going out on the airwaves? What made this holy is the presence. But understand, that angel ain't gonna stay there. Other people are going to possess that very same area where that bush was on fire. Go ahead.
I have seen the affliction of my people which is in Egypt. I have heard their groaning, and I come down to deliver them. And now, come, I will send you into Egypt. This Moshe whom they refused, saying, Who made you a ruler and a judge? The same did Elohim send to be a ruler and a deliverer by the hand of the angel which appeared to him in the bush.
Which by the hand of the angel which appeared to him in the bush. So even coming close to the angel of Yahweh, you need to come correct. Hey, take your shoes off. Yet people think it's strange when you approach unto Yahweh after you have invited the angel to come in and sup with us and us with him, that we wouldn't go with our heads covered. You had to go. They in the wilderness. They in some bushes, and they got to take their shoes off. Who got to take their shoes off in some bushes? Right. Go ahead.
He brought them out. After that, he had showed wonders and signs in the land of Egypt, and in the Red Sea, and in the wilderness 40 years. This is that Moshe, which said unto the children of Israel, A prophet shall the Adonai your Elohim raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me. Him shall you hear.
Wait a minute. So there was already a prophecy that there was going to be this star out of Jacob. Moshe had already talked about it. So even if somebody says that they only believe in the Old Testament, the Old Covenant, the understanding of who this star out of Jacob is already put forth. So if you accept the power of who and what Moshe was, this star out of Jacob is going to be like unto him. Go ahead.
Moshe is an image too, right? A man, right?
He's a man.
Some people go a little bit too far with I don't know what they see. He said they'll raise, a prophet shall the Adonai your Elohim raise up unto you of your brother, like unto me. So are you looking for the image of Moshe, or are you looking for the spirit in which led?
Now, here's the problem. Even if we were looking for the image, what image would we be looking for? The image that somebody has given us? Because remember now, they give us an image in these movies, but you know they'll show you all those miracles, but they don't show you that one where he stuck the hand in the bosom and it came out white. And then he put his hand back in, and it says, and it returned as his other flesh. Well, question, boss. What the hell was the other flesh? What it was it before it turned it turned white? So if it turned white, it wasn't already white. It turned white. So when it turned back, did it turn black? What did it turn black into? All right. So that image was not in the movie. I'll be damned. Look at that. So all the things that Hollywood does, it does absolutely impeccable research. But somehow they didn't want to research the hand. Isn't that interesting? That nobody wanted to do the research when it came down to that part. Okay, go ahead.
This is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spake to him in the Mount Sinai, and with our fathers, who received the lively oracles to give unto us, to whom our fathers would not obey, but thrust him from them, and in their hearts turned back again into Egypt. So
when we decide that we don't want to hear the instruction that's given unto us, we'll say that we might be this, so we might be that. He says in their hearts they turn back to Egypt. So you might think what you're doing is one thing. How does your Elohim look at it? When he asks, hey man, why every time I come around I find you back in Egypt again? I ain't even got no passport. You ain't seen me in Egypt. I ain't even nobody even been nowhere. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 40, saying unto Aaron, make us gods to go before us. For as for this Moshe, which brought us out of the land of Egypt, we know not what is become of him. And they made a calf in those days, and offered a sacrifice unto the idol, and rejoiced in the works of their own hands. Then Elohim turned, and gave them up to worship the host of heaven, as it is written in the book of the prophets.
Now, all right, so Yahweh gets angry, and then turn and give them up to worship the host of heaven. Now we got calendars that we think angels went up and got. Now we worshiping angels. Now we got names of angels that we can't find from Genesis to Revelation, but we got 20-some odd angel names from some other manuscript. And everybody swear they right. Wait a minute. Remember, he gave us a king in his anger. That didn't work out, did it? So now he gave us up to worship the host of heaven in his anger. Yet, everyone who's doing all of this so-called mystical worship swear they right. And they're dealing with the things that he let them become victim to because he got angry with Israel. He said, you want to worship all this stuff? I'll give you some. Go ahead.
O you house of Israel, have you offered to me slain beasts and sacrifices by the space of 40 years in the wilderness? Yea, you took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god Remphan.
Now, before he says the star of your god, now he go a little farther. The star of your god Remphan. So when we say the star of David, should it be the star of Remphan? Because in the beginning, when Yahweh says, and they're dealing with the star of Yaakov, when he deals with the star of Jacob, then that's Dawid, the star of Jacob, Dawid, the star then out of that is Yahshua. So then to deal with the real star of David, the star of David is Yahshua. Go ahead.
Figures which you made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. Verse 44.
All right, that's as far as I want to go there. Let's go to Revelation chapter 8. Because when we are dealing with this star, there is the belief that, it has to be something of great importance, because it said it was a star. Revelations 8, and let's start that at verse 6.
And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast up upon the earth, and the third part of the trees were burnt up, and all the green grass were burnt up.
Now, all the heaven people, they don't want to read this, and then when they do, all the people who say they go into heaven, and you have to wonder. He says, I gave them up to worship the host of heaven. Maybe the biggest worship is that you gonna be there. All right. So he done gave them up to that belief. All right. Now you find all of this judgment coming to earth. Now the heaven people say, I ain't gonna have to deal with that because I'm gonna be in heaven. When they're coming down there and that fire and that brimstone, boy, I tell you, it's hot. Yep. But I ain't gonna worry about it because I'm be in cool heaven. I'm gonna be swinging on the pearly gates. Yes, I am. Amen. Okay. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Verse 8, and the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea become blood.
Now, this don't sound like somebody who came with flowers and chocolates. I don't know what everybody else is preparing for. But I'm telling you that somebody lying. Go ahead.
And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died. And the third part of the ships were destroyed.
Uh-huh.
And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven.
Okay.
Burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of water.
All right, so is this the star that's being worshipped? Maybe this is the star. Keep reading.
And the name of the star is called Wormwood.
Well, wait a minute. So there's another star. The name of this star is called Wormwood. Let's see what Wormwood did. Go ahead.
And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter.
Now, one thing that Yahweh made the children of Israel deal with coming out of Egypt is he made the waters bitter. Were they living a part of prophecy and didn't understand what they were doing? Go ahead.
And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise.
Uh-huh.
And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of earth, by the reason of the other voices of the trumpets of the 3 angels, which are yet to sound.
All right, so then we have to then try to differentiate between these stars and what are they. Let's go to Matthew chapter 2. Because if salvation is of the Jews, we have to figure out which Jews we're talking about. Matthew chapter 2, and let's start this at verse 1.
Now, when Yeshua was born in Bethlehem of Yehudah in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of Yehudah?
Mm-hmm.
For we have seen his stars in the east, and are come to worship him.
We have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. Wait a minute. So there's a star then. Now, in the beginning, we read of a star out of Yaakov. Mm-hmm. So now these wise men said that we've seen his star in the east. Now, if we back up the lineage, and go back, we're going to end up with out of Jacob. So now we then have this Star of David. So we have to then ask ourselves some questions. If what does the star relate to? Is it the star of Remphan? Is it the star of some other god? Is it the star of Jacob? And if it is the star of David, then it is Yeshua. So then we have to do some little accounting here. For the star of David to be Yeshua, you would actually have to believe in Yeshua.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
For the star of David to be Yeshua, you would have to believe in Yeshua. If you don't believe in Yeshua, what is the star? Go ahead.
When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem, Yehuda, for thus it is written by a prophet, to whom Bethlehem in the land of Yehuda art not the least among the princes of Yehuda, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star had appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child, and when you have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also.
So you got false worshiper saying that when you follow this star, when you find where he is, come and tell me, and I'm going to come and worship him. Go ahead.
And when they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was.
All right, now stop. Now we done heard, and we watch History Channel. Mm-hmm. We done heard the shooting star.
Right.
You ever seen a star shoot down Glenwood, bust that left on Covenant, go down that hill?
No,
you know what I'm saying? Slow down right there by the car wash. No. Right there by the car wash. You know, and just throw that thing in park and just sit there and idle. You ever seen a star idling?
No.
You ever seen a star just sit there in neutral and just sit there? You just hear, what does it do? It sound like a Hellcat when it's going. What do the stars sound like when it's just sitting there idle? No. It said the star went over and it moved. What kind of star you done seen do that? Wait a minute. We know that what was in those bushes was a star, was an angel. Okay. So now we seeing this star move, and it ain't moving like nothing shooting, across the sky. It says, no. This star moved very peculiar in nature, and it got somewhere and threw its star engines in neutral. Go ahead.
We seen some crazy stuff out there camping one night. We thought we seen stars going straight across the sky. There wasn't no stars. Whatever it wasn't no stars. Not that we know of.
You ain't lying. We don't know what we were looking at. It sure got our attention.
Yes, it did.
Go ahead.
When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Miriam, his mother, and fell down and worshiped him.
Now, wait a minute. So then this goes and coincides with all of the things that we were reading before. That this star of David, because Yeshua is called the son of David, wait a minute. Now we see what this star of David really is. And this star was an angel that led them to the son of David. But you kind of have to believe in Yeshua before you can deal with who the star of David and what the Star of David really is. Go ahead.
And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of Elohim in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way.
Now, this is how dealing with Yahweh and how Yahweh deals with us on a need-to-know basis. All right, a lot of times we may want to have, especially if we have a dream, we want to know the understanding of that dream. We want to know it right away. And there may be certain visions that Yahweh give you, and you may not have the understanding of that for the next 20, 30 years. It ain't time for you to understand what that means. So while they are in the presence of Herod, he says, look, go and find the child and tell me so that I can come and worship him. Now, Yahweh calling plays. Now, for you to believe the play, he got to fool you too. Because you going to sell it wrong if he tell you, now look, we not going to come back by here. We're going to go another way. So when Herod say, when you find the child, come and tell me, you gonna give it away looking all stupid. We come. See, you talking too damn much. You talking too damn much. Now, you know the easy way for him to do that is to not tell your dumb self. That's it. The key to his success is not telling you. So now, you look Herod right in the eyes with good intentions. We gonna tell you as soon as we find out. Now you didn't know you was lying. Your God knew you was lying. And he set you up to tell that lie. Because he knew he wasn't gonna reveal to you. He waited to the last possible moment. By the way, Herod a clown. Oh, go this way. Done deal. See, now he ain't got to worry about you giving up the secret because you ain't know what it was. See, he protect us from us. And then we get mad. I wish I'd have known this. If I'd have known this earlier. You'd have known it, you'd have messed up the whole plan. You'd have messed up the whole plan because you'd have done something before it should have been done, and then he had to kill you. Now here it is, he trying to run a play with you. He trying to give you some work to do, and now he got to kill you. Go ahead.
You making me think about how we got this building the other
Hey,
day.
hey, bro. It is what it is.
Verse 10, when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. Verse 11, and when they were coming to the house, they saw the young child with Miriam, his mother, and fell down and worshiped him. And they had opened their treasures. They presented unto him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
So then when they saw the Star of David, they fell down and worshiped the Star of David. Wait a minute. They worshiped the Star of David. But the Star of David is Yeshua. Wait a minute. They worshiped the Star of David, but the Star of David is Yeshua. Okay, so let's go to Revelation chapter 22. Because, you know, people make a lot of money off those images now. A lot of money is being made. You know, when people get together and they within their congregations and they say, you know, hey, this is the color we're going to wear. Hey, that group buys all that color fabric. And they say, all right, we're going to wear the fringes or whatever, but you got to get these fringes. You can't get those fringes, you got to get these. So now there's a real marketing, money-making opportunity that you got to buy a certain shade of a color. So you can't just come in with, you know what I'm saying, you know, well, one person got on, you know, let's say deep purple and you know, another one comes up with a little violet. You know what I'm saying? They be like, hey man, what's wrong with Buddy? What's wrong with Buddy right there? See, now you're not even gonna fit in with the rest of the group. You gotta buy the company purple. See, you got to be with that. Now, that's gonna cost that gonna cost you. Now they just so happen to have a warehouse in the back that have the exact same shade of that color. I'll be doggone. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that coincidental? Isn't that such a coincidence? Okay, so we find that there's a lot of money in that. And then they said, hey, when they talk about the great goddess Diana, they say, hey man, we make a lot of money making these images, and these people coming over here talking this word, talking about there's no such God that is made with hands. If these people keep staying over here, they're gonna mess up our money. So they gathered people together to go against those apostles. Go ahead, brother. You got something?
Just real quick. That quote unquote Star of David, where it has a triangle facing up and the triangle facing down. Of course, that's clear duality, which is satanic worship, of course. But of course, everything that he tries to, the other guy tries to do is trying to be like Yahweh, trying to be like Yahshua. Mm-hmm. So that's all bad. And to those Christian folks out there that worship that daggone cross, that's satanic too, man. Why would you want to worship a cross where he died? It's just like you read, y'all read the fact that place was holy at a time. That cross was there when Yahshua was there handling that business. Mm-hmm. But why? That's not a holy thing. None of that stuff is holy, man. None of it is.
They say it's still holy even after he came off of it. Right. It was still holy. But see, that's you make a lot of money in dealing with these things. Just like they say, we found the shroud of Jesus. Is that what? Yeah, we found a cloth that they wrapped over his face, and when you unwrap it, look at the face. Look. Man, so you telling me you kept a 2,000-year-old bloody rag, and I'm supposed to pay you to come look at a 2,000-year-old bloody rag? That got to be one of the best hustles in the world right there. You selling tickets? They buying tickets to come see the 2,000-year-old bloody rag? Wow. That's rich. That's rich right there.
Yeah, do you think we've been got better? We done got worse, because you got a couple of stories, man. If you're able to sit down, if folk are able to sit down with you, boy, they say spirits in the wall. They're in the wall. Bruh.
Hey man.
Bruh.
You know what? It's those strange occurrences that you wish you had not gone through, mm-hmm. but it's those things that's gonna give you wisdom. You don't just get wisdom because you got old. You don't just get wisdom because you read in a book. No, that's intelligence. That has absolutely nothing to do with wisdom. Right. Wisdom come from them things that you didn't want to have nothing to do with. Wisdom come from that stuff that you ran your hardest away from. I mean, you running, and you finally go, I think I got away. And they say, hey, where we going? Where we going? Ah! Now you're about to get some wisdom. Now you're about to get it. Now you're about to get it. You done done everything you can to run from it. And it asks you, where we running to? It lets you know, wherever you going, I'm going. You going to go through me. But it's wisdom at the end of that when it's done. So that's just some things that we're going to have to deal with. Keep reading, brother.
Well, we are Revelation 22.
Revelation 22, and I want you to start at verse 6.
And he said unto me, these sayings are faithful and true. And the Adonai Elohim of the holy prophets sent his angels to show unto his servants the things which must shortly be done. Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keeps the sayings of the prophecy of this book.
Uh-huh.
And I, Johannes, saw these things and heard them. And when I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel which showed me these things. Then said he unto me, see you do it not, for I am your fellow servant.
I am your fellow servant.
And your brother of the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book, worship Elohim. And he said unto me,
Now wait a minute. Wait a minute. It says, and when I heard, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel. Now you have to ask yourself, now what angel is this? Because if it was the angel on Lucifer's team, if you fall down and worship that angel, you say, oh, you look so good down there. Look at there. Why don't you worship the left foot? Look at that. Now, Lucifer wasn't going to tell you to get up. Matter of fact, he said, if you bow down and worship me, all shall be yours. Yep. But the angel who followed in the right way said, wait, don't bow down and worship me. Now, you worship Elohim. I am his servant. Go ahead.
And he said unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according to his work shall be.
Wait a minute. And behold, I come quickly. This we're talking last book, of these holy gathered writings. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. Whatever a man committed is his work. Yet you have everybody who believe that automatically they die and zip tang, they in heaven. They ain't even been buried in the ground yet, and they already in heaven. Yet when we read toward this second resurrection, it says that these people are coming out of their graves. When we start reading about the first and second resurrection, wait a minute, people are coming out of their grave. Why they ain't coming out of heaven? They're coming up, not down. Go ahead.
Verse 13. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city.
All right, so the tree that Adam ate from was the tree of what? Knowledge. All right, it says they that do his commandments have right to the tree of life. Wait a minute, you got to get access to the tree of life. Wait a minute, this is the one that make you live forever. Go ahead.
For without our dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters and whosoever loves and makes a lie, I, Yahshua, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And the bright and morning star.
Wait a minute. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. So I don't know what, and you got people that got some necklaces and they got diamonds on it and they walking around, and I'm talking about they don't put a lot of money in they Star David, and I'm trying to told you. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. And if you don't believe in Yahshua, we have to ask, what is that star? Now we got to deal with something else. And Yahweh our Elohim is a very jealous Elohim. Go ahead.
And the Spirit and the bride say, come. And let him that hears say, come. And let him that is athirst, come. And whosoever will, let him take the water of life freely. For I testify unto every man that hears the word of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, Elohim shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of this book of this prophecy, Elohim shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book.
So then when you look at how there are so many other writings which are supposed to be the writings from sages or priests, and now you're reading what they think about the passage instead of reading the passage that clearly is defined as adding to the book, especially when you have volumes upon volumes. So Yahweh has given us a collection, and we can get that collection and put it in one book. What man has given is a collection that has over 35, 40, 50 books. How you going to read all that? It is meant then, you have to conclude, for you to put something else down to pick something else up. And if that is tying up all your time, then you're not dealing with these commandments. And these commandments are the things that are going to give you access to the tree of life. You don't just get that because you can go and tell somebody, well, I know I am the tribe of Naphtali. Well, congratulations. Mm-hmm. But that don't give you right to eat from this tree. See, that tree that caused you to live forever, you got to do something to get that. You ain't just going in with your green card and showing him your ethnic status, and he going to let you eat from the tree. Let's go to John chapter 4. John chapter 4, and start that at verse 15.
The woman said unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw.
Right. He says, whosoever drink of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. She says, Sir, give me this water. Go ahead.
Yeshua said unto her, Go, call your husband, and come hither. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Yeshua said unto her, You have said well, I have no husband. For you have had 5 husbands, and he whom you are now have is not your husband. In that said you truly. For the woman said unto him, Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worship in this mountain, and you say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Yeshua said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour comes when you shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. You worship you know not what.
You worship you know not what. Go ahead.
We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Yehudis.
Now, wait a minute. The same one who is the star of Yaakov, the same one who is the star of David, says that salvation is of the Jews. Now, the woman said, we worship in this mountain. It's like, hey, man, they do false worship in mountains.
Right.
There's certain things that, you know what I'm saying, just go by us. They said, woman, you shall not worship in this mountain nor at Jerusalem. You don't even know what you worship. Check it out. You don't know what you worship. Salvation is of the Jews. So now we still have to ask ourselves, well, which Jews are you talking about then? Keep reading.
But the hour comes, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth.
Now we starting to talk. The true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. That means if you're going to do that, it's a little bit of your vanity, what I want, what I think, what I feel, and what I believe. You're going to have to push to the side. Go ahead.
For the Father seeks such to worship him. Elohim is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth.
When you worship in spirit and truth, you gonna have to deal with that. You might want something one way, and Yahweh wanted a totally different way for you. You might want something this year, and Yahweh said, "Oh, I'm gonna give you that 2032. 20, I got your name on 2032. I'm telling you, it's going to be perfect for you in 2032. And you doing everything in your power to try to make something happen right now. And he got something so perfect for you, you gonna forget all the time that you didn't have it. Go ahead.
The woman said unto him, I know that the Messiah comes, which is called the Anointed. When he is come, he will tell us all things. Yeshua said unto her, I that speak unto you am he.
All right. Now, salvation is of the Jews, but then we have to ask ourselves, what Jews is he referring to? Let's go to Revelation chapter 2. Started at verse 1.
Unto the angel of the church of Ephesus write, These things said he that holds the 7 stars in his right hand, who walks in the midst of the 7 golden candles.
Now, wait a minute. Now, when you start talking about, which Jews, let me tell you something. Some people got 9 golden candlesticks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now the Jews he talking about, they got 7. So we starting to see a little separation here, because we have to figure out. He said salvation is of the Jews, but we already see a line in there, because he not dealing with them 9 candlestick Jews. He not dealing with those. Go ahead.
And that's an image too. That's an image.
That sure is. But that one got 7 though.
Yeah.
That one got 7 right there. That's 7. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's
I had to do it like count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 golden candlesticks. 7.
That's 7.
Okay. So I don't know what a 9 is, but we starting to get a separation between who is what. Because remember now, those were Israelites that Yeshua was talking to. He said, you know not what you worship. That's our Father gave us this well. So they are of the 12 tribes. He said, yeah, woman, you don't know what you worship. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. So there has to be some kind of separation in dealing with this. So we got the 7 stars and the 7 golden candlesticks. Go ahead.
I know your works and your labor and your patience, and how you cannot bear them which are evil.
Uh-huh.
And you have tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and have found them liars.
Wait a minute. Whoever that is, they're working. They're working. And this ain't this kind of work that bring that smoke.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you cannot bear them which are evil, and you have tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and have found them liars, let me tell you something. You clocking in. Because people don't just get told that and just walk away without casting their teeth at you. Go ahead.
And has borne, and has patience, and for my name's sake has labored, and has not fainted.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, I have somewhat against you, because you have left your first love.
Uh-huh.
Remember, therefore, from whence you have fallen, and repent, and do the first works.
And do the first works. Do we even remember what our first works were? Go ahead.
Or else I will come unto you quickly, and will remove your candlestick out of his place, except you repent.
So then, wait a minute. Now we read here and we read about removing candlestick, but we still ain't read nothing about adding no other candlestick. And then he's talking about your candlestick. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, removing yours. Go ahead.
But this you have, that you hatest the deeds of the Nicolaitans, which I also hate. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. To whom that overcome will I give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of Elohim. And unto the angel of the church of Smyrna, write, these things said the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know your works and your tribulation and poverty, but you are rich.
Wait a minute. I know your poverty, but you are rich. Now we get another separation with these these Jews, whoever he talking about, because they poor but they rich. Wait a minute. Now he said they rich, because and he didn't say they poor. He said they poor but they rich. Wait a minute. So there's natural poverty, and then there's spiritual prosperity. Some people are trying to be so naturally prosperous that they become spiritually bankrupt. Now, he's obviously measuring on two different scales. Poverty, but you are rich. So I don't care what you think you got, you rich. I had to learn that. I might be on the borderline of poverty. But I realized something. I'm rich. My daddy owns everything. Now, I ain't got no money. But my daddy rich. My daddy is rich. I'm talking about rich. My daddy rich. Now, all I got to do is get my daddy to say, look, just get that boy that. Now, I'm good. Now, I know I ain't got no money. But my daddy, if I catch him on a good day, he just don't feel like being bothered with me no more. I just done bothered him so much. I done asked him so much. He said, I'm so sick of hearing Esaac. Well, y'all go ahead and give him that thing so he can leave me alone. Yes! Ain't that what your kids do to you?
Yep.
Bother the absolute hell out of you. When you're down. Right, go ahead.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Yehudis and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
So now he's drawing some more lines here, because not many of us gather in any place called the synagogue. But he has drawn a line here saying the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews. Wait a minute. So then there's some people saying that they are Jews, but they are not. And he seeketh such to worship him in truth and in spirit. Now, this may go way deeper than any of us want to deal with, because what we automatically go in right there is color and non-color. But wait a minute. There may be some Jews that he said that ain't Jews, and they may be the exact same shade as you. So you might want to be careful how you look at that. Go ahead.
Fear none of those things which you shall suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be you faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, let's go to Revelation chapter 3. Started at verse 7.
And the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these things said he that is holy, he that is true, he that has the key of David.
Wait a minute, whoa. Wait a minute, now we getting to some stuff here. He had the key of David. Keep going.
He that opens and no man shuts. And shuts and no man opens.
Well, wait a minute. If we go to Revelation 5 and 5, who was worthy to open the book? Wait a minute. The book got a lock on it. Could nobody open the book? Wait a minute. Then they found someone who was worthy to open the book. The star out of Yaakov, the star of David, is Yahshua. Any other references to the star of David comes from the adversary, the devil, if it ain't Yahshua. You're dealing with something else. Go ahead.
I know your works. Behold, I have set before you an open door, and no man can shut it. For you have a little strength, and have kept my word, and have not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Yehudis.
Now we having another line being drawn. I will make them of the synagogue of Satan. Now, one has to come to their own conclusion about what makes something the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews. So whoever this is, they are proclaiming that they are Jews, but Yahweh say they are not. Now, you got to look out on the earth and try to figure out, well, who is that? Is that us? Is that them? You can't never look at a situation and just automatically say that ain't you. If you want to really prove something, you got to prove it to yourself. You got to just say, all right, let's assume that this might be me. Let me go into it. But whoever this is, it says, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. I'm going to make them to come and worship before your feet and know that I have loved you. So whomever the people who he say are Jews, somehow there's some other group of people who said that they are Jews and are not, and they're going to have to worship before those people's feet. That's all I can get out of this. There's two groups of people that saying they're Jews. Mm-hmm. One of them is, one of them ain't. One of them going to bow down to the feet of the other one. Now, that is what what the context of the text says. That's not our interpretation of anything. This is what is written in the text. This is what it says. So we have to then try to see, okay, where do we fall in this scenario? Go ahead.
Verse 10, because you have kept the word of my patience,
Uh-huh.
I will also keep you from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which you have, that no man take your crown. Him that overcomes will I make a pillar in the temple of my Elohim, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my Elohim, and the name of the city of my Elohim, which is New Jerusalem, which come down out of heaven from my Elohim. And I will write upon him my new name.
Uh-huh.
He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
Right. So then if we're going to deal with this, when we draw this line, we have to always keep 2 Kings chapter 17 in mind, because we know that the children of Israel were removed from Israel and then resettled in another land, and then another group of people settled in Israel and called themselves Israel. And I want to go to Esther chapter 8, because there's something else. So in your notes, make sure you write down 2 Kings chapter 17. And you need to read that. I want to say, especially around verses 20 and down or so, because you're going to find where other people were put in Israel and were presented as Israel, even learned the culture of Israel. And they were clearly not Israel. So then when we get to the point of it saying, I know the blasphemy of them who say that they are Jews and are not. Well, wait a minute. These whole towns, groups of people, excuse me, we're then dealing with live in the land, took on the culture of Israel, but they were clearly not Israel. So when we go on down the line to the present day time, how do we differentiate between who is a Jew and who's not a Jew? Esther chapter 8, and I want you to start at verse 12. You know what? Start at verse 11.
Wherein the king granted the Yehudis which were in every city to gather themselves together, and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. upon one day in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, and that the Yehudis should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies.
Right. Now, so when you call and you start dealing with these other two candlesticks, when you start dealing with some of the days that people keep, if you have a warring people who has merged themselves with Israel, let me tell you something. This is a day that they love greatly. This is like the purge. So you take one event, but if you have some people who really love warring, then they're going to celebrate this event every year so that they can get themselves prepared to war, which is what they like anyway. Go ahead.
So the post that rode upon the mules and camels went out, being hastened and pressed on by the king's commandments. And the decree was given at Shushan, the palace. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. The Yehudis had light and gladness and joy and honor.
All right, because they get to inflict harm upon the people who were going to try to kill them off. Go ahead.
And in every province, and in every city,
Every province, every city,
whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Yehudis had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Yehudis.
Stop. And many of the people of the land became Jews or Yehudim. Wait a minute. They were not. They became. It was profitable unto them at this point. Right now, the purge is going on.
Right.
All right? And it's profitable to be a Jew. And you can slide in and do you some purging. You know what? I didn't like Johnny Two Shoes anyway. So I'm going to join with these Jews. And when the time comes, I'm going to slip right down there by Johnny's house. And I'm going to show him something. Okay. Well, understand something. Coming out of Egypt, it says there was a mixed multitude. Hey, Egypt enslaved a lot of people, not just Israel. They were a huge power. So when it came time to be like, okay, you know, this God done came in and he freeing people. You mean to tell me you gonna be a slave and sit there, well, I don't know that God, so I'm gonna stay in this cage. Now you in the jailhouse. The jailhouse doors open. I don't know why those open, so I'm gonna stay in here. Boy. I said the hell you is. I said the hell you is. When them doors open, you coming up out of that. Right. See, so the people saw opportunity and they took that opportunity. The same thing then, the same thing now. They have become Jews. So over time and in the process of time, these people who became Jews, have they then boasted themselves against the ones who truly were Jews? If salvation is of the Jews, which Jews is he talking about? That's all that we're going to do for tonight. Let's leave out with a prayer. We're going to rise and face the east. Could you lead us out in prayer, please?
Yes, sir. Abba, Father, Most High Covenant, Elohim, Abraham, Esaac, Yaakov. Thank you, Father, y'all, once again for allowing us to come into in the place in which you've placed your holy name, Father, y'all, to read out of your legacy, Father, y'all. As we continue to back our way into our culture, Father, y'all, and figure out these things, Father, y'all, we ask that you increase our understanding and our strength to walk in those things that you give us understanding of, Father, y'all. We ask that you keep us in your hedge of protection, Father, y'all, as we leave this place and into our own dwellings, Father, y'all. We ask you to Forgive us for our sins and the sins of our forefathers, and allow us to come back into the shepherd's tent to do this all over again. In your holy and righteous Son, Yahshua HaMashiach, we ask of you these things. Amen and hallelujah.
Amen. Hallelujah.